What is going on, everybody? I am back, and let's talk about the 2025-2026 Sacramento Kings schedule. It has officially been released. If you follow me on X, stay tuned because I will be doing some giveaways for some games this upcoming season. If you have been following me on X for a while, you know how the giveaways work. Exciting day for the Sacramento Kings, and it all begins on Wednesday, October 22nd in Phoenix against the Phoenix Suns in the Valley, in the desert, against a team that the Kings have pretty much owned the last couple seasons. But their whole regular season schedule released today. And let's talk about it. So let's break this down. This is my first time breaking it down with you guys, so I'm actually excited to see how the rest of the schedule looks. So let's talk about it. At Phoenix against the Suns on Wednesday, 22nd. Our first home game will be Friday, the 24th, against Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz. And then Sunday, the 26th, we got the Los Angeles Losers. So LeBron James and Luka the Don will be in town. First three games, the Kings should be 3-0, man. Winnable games. How important it is to get off to a good start in the Western Conference, in the crazy wild Western Conference. But I honestly see a 3-0 start, man. Let's look at the schedule. Let's continue to look at the schedule. At Oklahoma City afterwards on Tuesday 28th. At the Chicago Bulls on the 29th. Ooh, there's a back-to-back. Saturday the 1st. At Milwaukee against the Bucks. The 3rd against the Nuggets in Denver. And then the first game against the Golden State Warriors will be at home game on the 5th. We shall see if Jonathan Kuminga is a King or not. That might be his first game, if he is, against the Golden State Warriors, his former team. But we shall see. Friday the 7th against Oklahoma City Thunder. Minnesota on Sunday the 9th. Tuesday 11th at home against Denver. And 12th, it's a back-to-back against the Atlanta Hawks. Then we go Friday the 14th at Minnesota. I think that's highlighted in blue because it's an NBA Cup game, I believe. So kind of keep that in mind as you see blue. We got the 16th in San Antonio against the Fox, Wemby and the Spurs. 19th at Oklahoma City. 20th at Memphis. The 22nd at Denver. Then Thanksgiving Eve, or Thanksgiving week, should I say. Monday, 24th, at home against Minnesota. Then 2 cup games. At Phoenix, 26th. At Utah Jazz. Looks like it might be Black Friday, the 28th. Then we got Sunday, the 30th, at home against Memphis. At Houston, look at Kevin Durant in the Rockets jersey on the 3rd. December 6th at Miami. Indiana on the 8th. Then you get a break because you got the knockout rounds and the end-season cup finale. And then you resume regular season play on the 18th at Portland. And then the 20th at Portland. Christmas week is looking good. You got the home game against the Rockets on the 21st. And then you got the Detroit Pistons the 23rd. Mavericks on the 27th. Sunday against the Lakers at home again. At Clippers on the 30th. And then on New Year's Day, you got home game against the Boston Celtics. Ooh, wee. Second at Phoenix against the Suns. Then Giannis is in town on the 4th. You got Dallas Mavericks on the 6th again. And then you're in the Bay Area against the Golden State Warriors on the 9th. You got home game against Houston again. Then you got another home game against the Lakers on the 12th. New York Knickerbockers on the 14th. Return of Coach Mike Brown. Give him a standing ovation because he deserves it. And then you got the Washington Wizards on the 16th. At home against Portland on the 18th. Miami on the 20th. Toronto 21st. Those are all home games. At Cleveland on the 23rd. At Detroit on the 25th. At New York 27th. The Philadelphia 76ers on the 29th. In Philly. At Boston on the 30th. At the Washington Wizards on the 1st of February. At home against Memphis on the 4th. Clippers on the 6th, which is a nationally televised game. Ooh, okay. At home against Cleveland on the 7th. At New Orleans on the 9th. At Utah on the 11th. At home against Orlando Magic on the 19th. And San Antonio on the 21st. At Memphis on the 23rd. At Houston on the 25th. At Dallas on the 28th. Sunday the 1st of March at LA against the Lakers. And at home against Phoenix on the 3rd. At home against New Orleans on the 5th. Chicago returns to Sacramento on the 8th. Indiana at home on the 10th. Charlotte on the 11th. At Clippers in LA on the 14th Saturday. Ooh. And that's a ESPN game, by the way. And then you got it back-to-back at home against Utah on the 15th. Spurs on the 17th. That'll be De'Aaron Fox's second return. Something to note there. And Philadelphia at home on the 19th. Brooklyn on the home on the 22nd. At Charlotte against the 24th. At Orlando on the 26th. At Atlanta on the 28th. At Brooklyn on the 29th. At Toronto on the 1st. So that's a 5-game road trip right there. And then New Orleans at home on the 3rd of April. LA Clippers Sunday night at home. Another nationally televised game. Golden State Warriors on the 7th of April in Golden State. And the Warriors in Sacramento at home on Friday the 10th. And then the season finale Sunday at Portland on the 12th. So, boy, a couple of things that stood out with the schedule. I counted 14 back-to-backs. Let me just double check. Yeah. We got 14 back-to-backs this year. I think we had 16 last year. So the back-to-backs are there for sure for the Kings again. And it looks like there's a good chunk of back-to-backs in the month of January, in the new year. So kind of glad the Kings are not having a set of back-to-backs, not that many towards the end of the season. Let's just say you're fighting for a playoff spot, playoff implications. That's good that you're not going to have that many back-to-backs towards the end of the season. But I will say the Kings have to be better in back-to-backs, man. They have stunk it up in back-to-backs the last couple of seasons. Why do I believe this season should be any different? I don't know. Just want to be optimistic, I guess. And make no mistake about it, the Kings should be able to be better, working on being better on back-to-backs. Another thing that stood out, some of the primetime nationally televised games, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted 9 nationally televised games. 3 of those 9 games are against the LA Clippers. Why do we have 3 of the 9 nationally televised games against the LA Clippers? That too. They're all in LA. Come on, why not give us a home nationally televised home game against the Clippers? But what stands out with these times, man? These NBC games are starting at 8 p.m., which is interesting. It's about to be a late night, boys and girls. 8 p.m. start times on these NBC games. A little later than what we usually start here in Sacramento. We usually start our games at 7 p.m. And sometimes a TNT game we can start at 7:30, like how the Lakers and Clippers start their games in LA. But notice that some of those NBC games are starting at 8 p.m. Now that could change, be right before the season starts, but from what it looks like, that's what it's looking like, guys. It starts at 8 p.m. So that really stands out right there. This is going to be a difficult schedule, the first 20 games. I'm not saying all these teams are unbeatable, but the fact that you play competitive teams in your first 20 games, it's going to be a real wake-up call in seeing how good you can be and what's going to be setting the tone for what the season's going to be like moving forward. You play Denver 3 times. You play OKC 3 times. You're playing Minnesota 3 times in throughout the first 20 games. So the Kings are going to get a real good freaking look on how good and competitive they can be this season early on against 3 of the top best teams in the Western Conference, man. I love the fact that we have a good test and starting out early. This is we're gonna see where we are when it comes to the measuring sticks on how good we can become as the season progresses throughout the season. I saw something about the Kings. They got the Kings DraftKings. DraftKings got the Kings over and under at 35 wins this upcoming season. This team is too damn talented to not win under 35 games. They should be well over that threshold, and if healthy, they should win more than 35 games, man. And that's not me being biased. If I was looking at the roster, and if I was looking at the win and loss total set by DraftKings, which is 35 wins, if I wasn't a Kings fan, I would tell you no, they should win more than 35 games. Let's say if an injuries happen, something goes down, someone's out and they're gonna miss significant time, then yeah, I can see them losing, a lot of games. But in terms of this team that they have talent-wise on the roster, if they remain 100% healthy, they should have no problem winning more than 35 games. The way I look at it, guys, all the crap that the Kings went through last year with the coaching change in December, the losing streaks, Fox getting traded in February, Levine coming over for a month and a half, and then they still managed to win 40 games. So if anything, I think the additional time with Levine, implementing Levine with DeRozan and Sabonis, adding Dennis Schroeder, adding the rooks and Max and Neek, and giving Keegan Murray some touches, emphasizing that because in the past we've gone away from him offensively when he was on a roll. Emphasizing Keegan Murray and getting him going and feeding him the ball when he's on fire offensively. I think that you factor all those things in. Doug Christie played the game. Doug Christie is now the coach. Doug Christie is going to want to get the most out of his team. And I think that you factor all those things in, the Kings should have no problem winning over 35 games. So with that being said, guys, that is the schedule. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the schedule. Honestly speaking, now expectation-wise, the first 3 games, the expectation I set the first 3 games, I wouldn't be surprised if the Kings go 3-0 the first 3 games. Yeah, the Laker game will probably be the difficult out of the 3 games because they have 2 generational players. But the Kings should still, it's still a winnable game. The Kings should not be able to get swept by the Lakers this year. There's no Anthony Davis. And 2 of the 4 games actually came close down the fourth quarter last season. And the season before that, the Kings swept the Lakers with Anthony Davis. But my point is, the Kings cannot afford to get swept by the Lakers because that is not the Sacramento way. So that expectation, it should be 3-0, but reality, knowing the Kings' luck, it could be 0-3, could be 1-2. But at best, most around my circle see the Kings winning in Phoenix and at home against Utah and then possibly losing to the Lakers on Sunday. But my thing is, it's extra motivation to not get swept by the Lakers and beat them coming out. And they should be 3-0 to start the season if they are serious about being competitive. And show us, give us some hope, or show us why they want to be competitive. It's really important to get off to a great start in the Western Conference if you're going to compete for the playoffs, is what I'm saying. And looking at their first 20 games, they got a lot of good teams that they're going to be playing. 3 teams, Minnesota, OKC, and Denver. Those are 3 elite teams at the top of the table, at the top of the Western Conference, which will be a good test for the Kings in the first 20 games. So with that being said, predictions, man. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about the schedule. Looks like there's going to be 14 back-to-backs. And they have 9 nationally televised games. I still can't believe 3 of those 9 televised games are against Clippers at 8 p.m. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be a long night on those nationally televised games. But with that being said, I'm excited. I guess if anything, the NBA is trying something different with the scheduling and with their primetime games and their packages, I guess. So pretty excited. If you're asking me about the Cup, I guess we're excited about that, but at the same time, I'm more focused on the 82-game season and the schedule, and I'm more focused on this team fighting and competing for a playoff spot, if I'm being honest. But we shall see how they do in the Cup play as well. And with that being said, that is the breakdown of the schedule. Please let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah, people have asked me about Domantas Sabonis' interview lately, and he said some interesting thing that we're still trying to improve the roster, and a lot could look different from now until training camp starts. Probably hinting that they're still trying to get Jonathan Kuminga from the Golden State Warriors. We shall see, man. If Kuminga deal is done, they got to get him in right before training camp starts because it is around the corner. We're in the middle of August. They got to get Kuminga in, and training camp will be here sooner rather than later if they're going to decide to try to acquire Jonathan Kuminga still. So with that being said, excited to hear Sabonis say those things, and he spoke highly of the young rooks, that they've been working hard, and he is continuing to work hard and on this game, and he's excited to get to work and continue to work with Levine and DeRozan on their chemistry as they are the trio, the faces of the team. And I'm excited to see what Domantas Sabonis has to offer and how he plays this upcoming season. So with that being said, man, really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Anything breaks news that's Kings related, I will keep you guys up to date here. Sorry this video was a little longer, but we had to break down the schedule, and it's exciting. I'm excited. Basketball is around the corner, guys. So with that being said, I will catch you guys in my next video. Take care. God bless. Keep pushing forward. We will see you guys in the next video. Peace.